like jokes. Most people do. I make plenty of them on the channel, and they're a good time. I don't mind jokes about me. There are plenty of aspects of myself you can mine stuff from, and I've heard pretty much everything there is to hear. But I'll tell you what I do hate. Lies and gaslighting in the name of comedy. Cannot stand being the recipient of that shit, plainly. Make any kind of joke you want. I don't care how dark. I don't care how personal. Make a joke, and if it's funny, it's funny. But some of you may have experienced this where somebody, even your friend, will spread a rumor about you or misrepresent you in front of other people for a laugh. Nah, I'm not on board with that nonsense. If there's a chance that people will start to seriously believe what you're joking about because you're stating it like it's a fact and doubling down on it and repeating it over and over because people think where there's smoke, there's fire, no. That's the definition of slander, of defamation. And for someone like me who for some reason as a public figure is accountable for pretty much every aspect of my existence, past, present, and future, if people are going to think things about me, I prefer if they weren't based in rapidly spreadable lies. There was a time, not in my Discord, but in a friend's Discord I used to be in, where somehow the idea got started that I had a foot fetish, and I have no idea how, but it became a thing that people would just bring up as a joke constantly, but in a matter-of-fact way. Like, oh yeah, Albino has a foot fetish, you didn't know? And I would literally have been less annoyed by that if I did have a foot fetish. Because at least then it's like, okay, verifiable, no lies detected at least. I'm just the butt of a joke based in reality. Them's the breaks, kid. People are observing truth and making light of it. Good for them. But I do not have one. Because I think feet are disgusting and have believed that my entire adult life. And of the fetishes, I literally think it's one of the most depraved ones. You know who likes feet? Fucking psychopaths. I'd rather hear about cannibalism. At least if you like to eat people, I can understand it. What do humans taste like? Must be good if people will break one of the most taboo laws and immediately be regarded as the worst kind of pariahs if anyone ever found out. But a foot fetish? I've seen feet. I've touched them with gloves on while wearing a hazmat suit. It is plainly unthinkable to me that anyone would be aroused by a foot. If you suck toes, you should be shot. Nobody good ever sucked toes. You've never seen someone end a war and then go home and be like, honey, I think I deserve a tree to whip them little piggies out. I'd rather a war rage on another 10 years than be ended by someone who sucked toes. If you suck toes, you're a pedophile. Even if they're not kids' toes, you just are a pedophile now by association because you're doing this disgusting thing. You might as well also be doing this other disgusting thing. So to summarize, foot fetishes are actually the worst thing you can have in a list that includes horseplay and leukemia. Therefore, I do not have one, but I'm pretty sure half the people in that Discord think that I actually do, and no amount of defensive action can persuade a person who's just heard a baseless rumor. They cling to it. You can literally prove it wrong somehow, and they'll still cling to it. People like whichever information got to them first. That's really why rumors are so tenacious, because you hear, oh, Albino has a foot fetish, and you never previously heard that he didn't, because who starts a rumor that someone doesn't have a foot fetish? And then if that person's like, no, I don't, you're like, well, why would someone think that then? Where there's poop, there's an asshole. I see a big old pile of poop, and I think you might be the asshole. The damage is done, and it is infuriating. But even as far as slanderous lies go, that one's at least pretty separate from who you are. Like, so what if people think I have a foot fetish? I can just light myself on fire and cleanse the shame. It gets worse if someone is lying about something that's even more believable because it's verifiably related to your personality or life experience. The catalyst for this episode was a recent happening regarding my past propensity for rage quitting at video games. I have an every video game opinion that annoys me episode, I've got 'em for short, called Losing. It's part 56 of that series, and I'll link it in the description because it still holds up today, but it's about my relationship with losing at things and why it takes the toll that it does, which I've been trying to work on for some time now. Essentially, it's about status and pride, but it goes deeper into biology and the nature of existence and competition. Suffice it to say, I'm placing some real stakes on the action mentally. But I've been doing good lately and haven't actually rage quit in months. I used to not even be able to get through a Smash stream without teeth grinding. That's gonna do it for this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe. To the point where I quit doing them for a long time. But I started bringing them back on occasion, and while my emotions haven't been flawless, I've at least never just been like, fuck this, and left. But you wouldn't know that when some of my friends get involved in the conversation and bring up ancient history like it happened yesterday and literally gaslight the rest of the voice chat like, nah, he literally rage quit 3 days ago. I was there. No, I didn't. And no, you weren't. You absolute son of a bitch. And then I get mad because I hate being misrepresented, which just makes people believe it even more. Like, oh, you're gonna rage quit now, huh? Which at that point would have nothing to do with the game we're playing, but yeah, it might be beneficial for me to rage quit this fucking conversation. And I have legit anger problems, but only about very specific things. I don't get physical, I don't punch walls or throw controllers or drop kick a girlfriend, but I will absolutely lose control of what I'm saying, and my tone of voice will turn into this desperately hushed, seething ball of volatility. Like, it'll be medium in volume because I try incredibly hard not to yell, but the intensity will be ratcheted up to 11. It's like, you know what you're saying is fucking bullshit, you idiot, and you want this reaction, and I can't help but give it to you, you goddamn piece of shit. Except I'll be talking faster than I can think, so it won't sound so put together. And I do know they want that reaction, and I do give it to them, but I always feel like I have to defend my side for the other people listening who don't have context because I don't want them to just believe that. And I have a very exploitable personality when you push my buttons, which some people are all too keen to take advantage of, and I would call those people my former friends. But again, those buttons only activate under very specific circumstances, which are when people lie about me and when people try to gaslight me about stuff. It's just unfortunate that those are both very easy to attempt. Maybe the most common aspect of gaslighting that gets me is when people accuse me of being mad before I actually get mad. That makes me mad. You can see the feedback loop forming in real time. It proves them right retroactively, and then they think they were always correct to point it out when they were straight up not. But imagine convincing them of that while you're straining to keep the steam inside your ears. I wasn't mad! You're mad now! Now isn't then, bitch! There's nothing to be done about that. It's just tragic. The solution, if you're someone who is also being faced with situations like that, provided they aren't coming from your family, is to cut those people out. You don't need those friends. You'll get better friends, or you'll be alone, which is also preferable. I've had periods of my life where I didn't talk to anyone for months, and those were the most calm and productive months ever. I don't mind it in the slightest. Friends can be nice, but they're not a requirement, especially when they're shitty to begin with. But what if you die alone? Good. Then there won't be a bunch of shitty people at my funeral. I won't even need one. Of course, in my case, I'll be much too famous to die alone, and my funeral will inevitably be filled with shitty people, most of which I'll have never met while they go up and talk about what great friends we were, so I'll just have to grapple with that. Of course I want to die alone. Why would I want anyone to witness such a horrific process? The fear of death drives most of my phobias and is responsible for 70% of my anxiety. I'll be spending my final years on this earth searching desperately for immortality and not accepting if I can't find it. There's no comfort anyone can offer me in that scenario. You're about to watch me get dragged off to hell. You think holding my hand and smiling is gonna make that shit okay? I can already feel the third-degree burns forming. I don't know what happens when we die, but I do know that I stop being alive, and that alone is cause for immeasurable despair because it's pretty great out here. I've said it before, but I'm rooting for reincarnation. Best case scenario. Give me a do-over as somebody else. Just keep me human. I don't want to be a grasshopper or a napkin. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter because I remade that for purely entertainment-based purposes now at Sunburned Albino, and I'll see you guys next time.